Twitch page, and we should be good. At least I hope so. So, hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is May 30th, and this is the May 30th TextQuest Devstream. So, today we are going to be working on finishing up the benchmark tool. Currently, we have a scene that is serving as a benchmark, but it is not actually doing anything. So let me go ahead and pull that up. I should probably move it to a spot that would be a little bit more accessible. So if we go ahead and open that up, it's not going to have lighting baked, or I guess it's still using the other one. Okay, I lied. Apparently it will still have lighting baked. Kind of. No, it looks fine. Anyway, so this is our scene, and if we play it, it's going to actually fly through, assuming it decides to actually do so. So we'll be able to fly through the scene to actually get our frame rate, get the averages, get min maxes. Oops, clicked off of it. And for some reason, we're getting way lower frame rates today than we were in the past. Wonder why. Because I think in the past our frame rate was pretty much at like 120 with a minimum of something like 100? I could just be misremembering. Either way, so we can properly show all this information, but we're going to want to do a couple of things today. One, we need to load into the scene, and two, when the fly-through is done, we need to actually have a little prompt that says, you know, this was your min, this was your max, this was the average frame rate, and then probably just type anything to continue, and that will just unload this scene and load in the, I guess, the main scene. Although, I wonder if we could actually just load this scene additively. No, that would be kind of nuts. So, we'll see what it's like. I do have concerns that loading into this scene is going to be time consuming, and if it takes longer than, I'm going to say 10 seconds to load, to go to, total going to and from the scene, loading wise, we're not going to do it. So, or rather, we're going to find a different way to actually load into the scene. And that could be as far as having this just be additively loaded in and then additively unloaded. Which I guess I could do regardless, but we'll see. Anyway, so for now, let's go ahead and go back to our splash fade. And we're going to see where we should have that scene actually be, or where I guess where the benchmark option should be. I'm kind of leaning towards having it be in the base options menu, but it might need to be under graphical settings. Either way. And let's go ahead and play real quick. No, I really should maximize on play. What's happening? There we go. Alrighty then. So let's go ahead and hit start. Go to options. So we have display, which is all of this fun stuff. But I wonder if could we put it in graphics? It's probably not gonna fit in here. Okay. And why is that so far off? It's being covered up. That's super weird. Huh. You know what? I wonder if... No, it's correct. I was wondering if for some reason my mouse was not hovering. Okay, that's super weird. Why is this not... Huh. So I can hover over the full area over here, but not over here. There... I bet it's the label. Okay, hold on. I want to confirm that. Aha! So fun UI fact. If you're working with Unity's Canvas system, an empty text object that hovers over something or that covers something up will prevent raycasting. So in order to avoid that, you should tell text objects to either not be raycastable. Let me find it real quick. We're in options. No, we're in graphics options. Root output label. Where are you? Aha! See? I was right. So to fix that, all we have to do is just set extra settings. Raycast target to be off. And now if we were to resume playing, yeah, okay. So we'll go ahead and make that change a little bit later once we stop playing. Anyway, so we don't want it to be there. I could probably put it here. Not in game. In just the general options menu. Because I think it's fine if I fit one more thing on here. Although it is unfortunate that adding benchmark would be 2 Bs. And my historical approach to menu design is that I want to have unique names for everything so that we can, do shorthand by typing letters. But benchmark starts with a B, and back also starts with a B. So that's not great. Well, what to do? I do think that it's just going to have to fit in options, though. Doesn't look like we can really do it anywhere else. So that is where we will put it. All right, let's go ahead and stop. As far as loading the actual benchmarking scene goes, I think we're just going to approach it with an asynchronous level load, see how long that takes. If it takes noticeably long, geez, I don't know. Would we want to just load it anytime the main menu is open? In that case, we could additively load it in the background, put it somewhere really far off, and then it would probably be fine. But that is kind of a messy way of doing it. So we'll have to see how long it takes to load. Wow, really? It's gonna re-import all the substance files, huh? Okay, I can dig it. Don't know why it decided to do that, but it did. All right, let's go ahead and pull up our UI real quick. And let's grab our menus. So we want to real quick grab our, what was it, graphics? No, it was just, yeah, it was graphics. View graphics option. Go ahead and drag that up here. And all we got to do is just change our output label to not be raycastable. And that'll fix that little problem. Okay, we can hit apply there. All right, let's go ahead and open up our base options menu now. So options, UI, let's toggle on our root. Oh, hello, Garrett. Welcome back. How have you been? We're just doing, we're finishing up our benchmarking stuff today. Hopefully. I don't anticipate it taking more than today, but we'll find out. Anyway, so output label, again, we'll probably change this to be non-raycastable. No real reason to have it be raycastable anyway. It's not meant to block anything, so might as well disable it on areas that it's not necessary. Okay, next we're going to go to content. We are going to duplicate, I guess, the game button. Move this up here. And you can see our rectangles up here. So that's the areas that are going to highlight whenever we hover over it. So let's see here. We're going to change this to benchmark button. All right, single out our scale and change our label to be benchmark. Can't tab, I got a space. What would be a good letter for benchmark? Benchmark. Obviously B, but we can't do that. I could use M. That would sort of work. You know what I really should do, just because I'm a crazy person, is I should try to make all of our single-digit options spell stuff. But that would be... no, don't need to focus on that for now. That's just something extra if I can get that to actually work. So, not a big fan of M, but I guess we'll have to leave it like that. It's the only other really strong consonant or consonant sound. Benchmark. So, All right, we'll leave it as M. And let's go to options. We're gonna go ahead and open this up. Oh, goody, we don't have our hint stuff for this. Oh man, so that means we're actually gonna change quite a bit of this. Well, that's fun. Event button. Event button, event button. All over the place. Let's see, we're going to duplicate this. This is going to be our benchmark button. And we're going to have to change a couple of things. First off, let's go ahead and say public string display hint equal to that. And we're going to say make that a text area. I believe that I generally set min lines just 3 and 3. Because it doesn't need to be super long, it just needs to be a little bit easier to read. So what should our hint be by default? I think we're looking at options for, I guess, our settings for, settings for your monitor. I think that's fine. Oh man, you know what I just realized? I'm gonna have to figure out how to switch between monitors. Right now I think it's assuming that it's going to just use the first monitor, but it might actually be good to figure out how to swap between monitors. So that's gonna be fun. Anyway, public string, what else? Graphics hint is equal to settings for graphical settings for graphical settings for graphical options. Ooh. Here, how about adjust graphical settings like anti-aliasing and shadow distance. I honestly don't remember what I have in my graphics options. Or texture resolution, there we go. Texture resolution. And I guess this will be adjust settings for your monitor. I guess I don't really know what else to do there. So, yeah, we'll just leave it like that. Let's go ahead and next one, we're going to have audio. Audio hint. Adjust audio settings. Or I guess how about adjust volume. Volume for music, sound effects, and I think that's actually it. I literally only have music and sound effects. Yep, that's it. Music and sound effects. Alright, next thing is going to be game hint, I guess. Game hint. Adjust gameplay settings and key bindings. Alright, and one more, which is benchmark hint. Benchmark hint. Run a benchmark scene to see how well text quest performs with the current settings. I think that makes sense. Run a benchmark scene to see how well text quest performs with the current settings. Yeah, that sounds good. Or how about run a test scene? Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, so we're gonna have to change a couple of things down here. I have on display clicked. On graphics clicked, all that stuff's the same. Except down here, we're going to say private void on button hover string message output text equals message private void on button hover exit output text is equal to nothing, and there's going to be hover enter. And let's see here. So let's go ahead and duplicate this line. I'm going to need a duplicate for this function. It's going to be on benchmark clicked. I'll get rid of that. It's not going to do anything for now. And it's going to be benchmark button dot on click dot add listener on benchmark clicked. All right. And I almost forgot the back hint. So we're going to need this. Back hint. Return to the main menu. All right. So next we're going to have to actually assign our delegates for hovering and exit hovering. So we're going to say display button dot on hover enter dot add listener. This is where it's going to be fun. We're just going to say open close parentheses, and we're going to say on button hover enter display hint. Ta-da! So we made an anonymous function to pass in there. I'm just going to duplicate this a couple of times. 2, 4, 6. I need 2, 4, 6 times. Alright, I'm going to do one more down here, except there's going to be on hover exit is going to be on button hover exit. Oh, and that one I guess I don't actually need to make it a delegate. I can just do this on button hover exit. Much easier. And again, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So let's just go down the list here. All right. Got everything in there now. So now when we actually hover over it, it should give us a little bit of a prompt saying what it is. Do I need anything else? No, although I am going to have to reassign those values because they were buttons before. They were just simple, humble buttons. And they now need to be event buttons. So, Shazam. Compile. I command you. There we go. Yeah, so 3 I always felt was enough. Okay. So now we have to reassign a few things. First off, we will... Okay, making sure that's the same. We're going to add an event button. Alright. And I suppose that display... Let's see, I'm probably just going to try to match these settings. And again, just completely black and visible, 0.2 fade duration, and we should be good for everything else, right? Yep, that looks good. And events, don't need to worry about those. All right. So, let's go ahead and we're going to copy this component. We're going to remove the button components there. We're going to paste the components as new, and then we're just going to have to individually grab them, drag them in. And then we're good. All right, now we just got to reassign them. So display button, graphics. Oops, that's the graphics again. Audio, game, benchmark, and back button. All right, cancel. Come on. Turn off our root, hit apply. All right, let's see what that looks like real quick. Just because I want it to look fairly decent. And then we'll actually be able to get the scene loading working. Start. So options, adjust settings for your monitor, adjust settings. Oh. Oh no. Oh, I didn't change that. Okay, yeah. I forgot to change the string being passed in the delegate, so it's all just passing the same string. Whoops. Anyway. So at least it looks nice. That's a small code change, fortunately. Nothing crazy. And then if we click on benchmark, nothing. It's fine. Alright, so let's go ahead and fix that real quick. Scroll all the way down here. And this is going to be graphics, hint, audio hint, oops, game hint, bench. If I could spell bench, which apparently I can't. Benchmark hint and back hint. Alright, well, we still got the eternity for it to close. Well, while that's happening... finally. Aha! I'm gonna take a drink real quick. It's still doing it. Weird. Alright, so with that fixed, let's go ahead and go up here to on benchmark clicked. This is going to be a little odd, because we're going to need to have a string reference to it. Boo. Which I guess I can just add a public string reference up here. What madness is this? What do you mean? We haven't done anything yet. It hasn't been too mad yet. Anyway, let's go ahead and I guess, see, I don't want to put it right down here. So I'm going to say public string. I really don't like this for now, but we'll have to make do. See the benchmark scene. And I guess we'll just call it benchmark scene. Just benchmark is fine. Alright. And to make sure that that looks right, we're going to select our option. Yarg, come on, there we go. Benchmark, that's probably fine. Let's go ahead and rename Castle Benchmark to just benchmark. Go ahead and do build settings, and we're going to need to add the benchmark scene. Alright, that's fine. And finally, see, this is where it's going to get a little iffy. We're going to want to do scene loader dot load scene async, and then we'll say benchmark scene. I don't think this is going to do anything really crazy. So I don't think it's going to do like a fade out or anything like that. I think it's literally just going to, yeah. Let's see how long that takes. I'm curious. So we won't get any visual indication that it's loading right away, but we'll see what that does. I do worry that I'm eventually going to have to, just whenever the main scene is loaded, load in, whatever target scene needs to load. And in addition, like 1,000 meters away, load in the benchmarking scene and just see what happens. We'll find out, though. Let's go to options, benchmark. Well, that actually wasn't that bad. So we would just need to do the benchmark scene and then close the menu. I think we would be fine. And then we'll have to return to the main menu and properly open these menus again, which is fine. But yeah, that's super great. Well, at least while we're here and waiting, we can see if we're run a test scene to see how well TextQuest performs with the current settings. I don't like having scene and C next to each other. That makes it difficult to say. So run a test scene with the current settings to see how no. Yeah, I can't use 2C because I have scene. Well, in any case, that's a minor issue. So let's go ahead and stop that. We will hit close. And do I need to have a I think it's the scene or load delay? Splash delay. No. What is it called? It's in the main menu, or it's in the main starting scene. I just never remember what it is. So this should at least close it. Then we'll need to keep track of our min and max values for our FPSs, or our FPSs, for our frame rate, as well as the overall average. Although that one might be a little more tricky to get. Because I don't know if I really want to have a giant list of however many frames it's going to take. That would be interesting, but also chaotic. As opposed to like the last 50 frames or something like that. But then we'll see. Let's. So it didn't take very long to load in, which has me excited. And also that means that something about my scripts are actually what's causing those massive hangs whenever we load into a scene. So that's something that needs to be addressed at some point. But we'll see. I also just realized that I can't talk. That we'll probably need to make sure that the substances used in the benchmarking scene are pre-built. So as soon as the main menu shows up, we should probably start building those substances. That way we don't have to wait for them to load, and we're not going to be greeted with, a blue material or whatever color material it chooses to be. So let's see here. What to do next for that? I guess we'll want to have a menu pop up when you get to the end to display all of that information. So let's come down here. Benchmark. Oh, there are way more benchmarks than need to be. Oh, because it's a lot of other things that are doing it. Okay, there we go. Let's go ahead and call this benchmark view. All right. Open that up. Reload all. It's going to be under TextQuest. Do I want it to be a TextQuest view? Maybe. Yeah, it probably should be. TextQuest view. Alright. Override on submit. That's just going to check what our input text is, and then we will actually just say whatever you type will go back. Let's see what else we're going to need. Up here, we're going to need to say using TM Pro. We're going to want to use TextMesh Pro for this. And we're going to say public TextMesh Pro UGUI. What do we want to call it? Min label public TextMesh Pro UGUI. Max label public TextMesh Pro UGUI. Average label, and that's probably fine. I don't think I really need much else besides the min, max, and average. So not too concerned with this. for now, we will need to have... Oh, jeez. We'll leave the level loading stuff out for now, and we'll focus on getting it to look right. I guess I don't really need anything else besides those functions. Okay, super simple. Let's turn on our UI. What do I want to duplicate? I'm going to duplicate options. Options is probably a decent one to duplicate. Or I guess not really duplicate so much as just... Well, no, I'm not going to override it. Let's go ahead and turn this on. I'm going to call this view benchmark. If I can type benchmark. We're going to drag this down to here right away. That way I don't accidentally override it. Well, override the options menu, because that would be terrible. And then let's go ahead and change some stuff. So we're not really going to have... we'll call it benchmark results. So menu label, that's going to be the same. And here we're going to say benchmark results, which obviously is not going to fit all the way, so we have to instead do this. Aha! Not entirely sure why all of my menus don't just have their titles stretching like that, but whatever. Benchmark results. Let's go ahead and change our content. So these are no longer going to be... Oh, that's wonderful. Got some Unity error. There we go. How wonderful. That would be a fun little thing that Unity does whenever it has trouble connecting to services. Did that fix it? Nope. All right. So we just got a Unity error going on in the background. Yes! I love it. I love it when that happens. Anyway, well, while that's going on, we'll just have to ignore that maddening error that doesn't actually mean anything. Let's get rid of all of these. Do I want to have... Nope, that's actually fine. Okay, so let's get rid of all of those. Yes, I know. Input, that's going to be the same. Output label is going to be the same. And let's go ahead and say content. Add a... I guess we're going to add just chunks of it, aren't we? Let's see here. We're going to go ahead and change our content to be anchored in the middle with a height of 300. That looks fine. And a position Y of 0, I guess. Alright, fine. So 0.55. There we go. So a little bit higher up than the middle, but it should be fine. Alright, so we're going to change this to min. I guess I'll just call it min. Let's go to UI, TextMesh Pro Text. Change our font to 8-bit font. Well, that wasn't scary, seeing the purple material. Oh dear. Hopefully we don't have a broken shader in TextMesh Pro for some reason. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's set this to be, what do I want to call it? Min, I guess that's it. So that's our actual basic label, but then we're also going to need one that is a value label. And let's go ahead and stretch this all the way. We will set its anchor X to be most halfway. We're gonna, do we want to center it? No, let's have it be to the right and centered vertically. And let's go ahead and say actually 0.4 for its spacing. We're going to duplicate this, have 0.4 as its minimum and 1 as its maximum. We're going to single out the scaling. This is going to be the opposite. It's going to be to the left. And it's going to, I guess, be 0.5 actually. And then this is going to be 100. I don't know. Some random number. Between 0 and infinity, I'm guessing. So it's going to be value label. Alright, let's go ahead and duplicate this a couple of times. Call this max. Single this out. And average. Those look like they're small enough. Yeah, that looks fine. So, average. Go ahead and change these. So min val is now going to be max value label 1 and 1 and then 0 and 0. That always bugs me whenever it's like something times e, so it's an incredibly tiny number. But it always drives me nuts because it's not actually displayed as 0. I prefer them to be just displayed as 0. Okay. I guess we gotta change our actual label values to max and average. Should I say average frame rate? I mean, not at that frame size apparently, but we can probably change this. Hold on. This is going to be 0.5. Then our min value labels will actually change to 0.55. There we go. Do I want to have frame rate after everything in here? Because I feel like that's redundant. Frame rate. Min frame rate, max frame rate, average frame rate. Min, max, average. I almost feel like it would be better to just have min, max, and average and then frame rate over them. And not much else. Unfortunately, I don't know what else we would benchmark. Like, to me, benchmarking has always just been about the frame rate that your game's running at. Surely there's another value that we could spit out there. Like, core temperature. I don't know. I don't know if I... Actually, that would be pretty funny if I could just access the GPU and be like, how hot are you? Let me know. I'd like to display that. So, yeah, I don't think they're going to say frame rate on every single label. Just switch it to min, max, and average. And let's go ahead and rename this to average value label. Go up here, get rid of the options view, open up benchmark view. There's our root, our type, it's default. Order, I guess 5 would be fine. Doesn't really matter, nothing's going to be there. Output label. We have to have our input, which I guess is here, input field. And our placeholder text right there. So average, max, and min value labels. So that's all of that. I guess I'm just gonna have to actually duplicate this and come up here and just say label. Or description? No. Indicate? No. Label. No, come on. Frame rate label. Don't really have much of a better idea. So we're just going to change this to frame rates. And should we just center this one? I kind of think we should. Like short of actually getting anything else, I guess I'll just do this. Then we can underline it. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. Curiosity. Ooh, I was worried about that. Ah! Crud. Okay. So we won't do it with that. We'll do it with you. Or other. So the reason that I just did that was because eventually the player, after beating the game, will unlock color options for the menus, so you can change the color of the text. By default it's going to be white, but by accomplishing various things such as defeating the game in under a certain amount of time, or beating the game and collecting all treasures, or beating the game and using under a certain amount of words or sentences, you'll get different colors that you can set up. So in order to support that, I need to make sure that all of my labels here are rich text supported, and that they will basically be easily able to actually adjust the color for them because it's going to use rich text to define the color. So if I didn't use a underline tag and I just tried to underline the font here, it looks like it would use the underline would be the color for the actual label as opposed to the color being specified in a rich text tag. So got to be careful with that stuff. Which I know that was probably a fairly boring tangential line for most people, but it's exciting for me. Anyway, so frame rates, min, max, average. Do I want to color code these? Yeah, sure, why not? So let's go ahead and come up here to benchmark view. I don't think I have a... I could do it quick and dirty. I know I could. Fine, I'll do it quick and dirty. No, actually I won't. I'll do it the right way. So we're going to say create, C# script. We're going to say benchmark range. Go to our editor. Come on, Unity. I believe in you. You can do it. There we go. All right. So this is going to be a small struct, I guess. I was going to make it a class, but might as well make it a struct. Struct. It's not going to derive from anything. Text quest. And the main difference between structs and classes is largely depending on what you need it to do. In certain situations, they each have their own advantages. Structs I found are best for really simple collections of information. Oh yeah, and I'm going to have it be serializable. System not serializable. Alright, we're going to have... I guess it's going to be a vector 2. Public float. Well, yeah, okay, fine. Vector 2 range is equal to new vector 2 0f 0 9f 0f. Interesting. Oh, right. That's another thing that always gets me. When you have structs, you can't initialize your variables. They have to be initialized in a constructor. So we're going to have a range and a public, if I could spell public right even, color, we'll just call it color. And then we're going to say public benchmark range, vector 2, range, color, this dot range equals range, this dot color equals color. That's another thing with constructors for benchmarks. For structs, you have to initialize all of your values in your constructor. Even if you don't actually pass anything in for them, you need to initialize them with a value. Let's go ahead and say for funsies. I guess we'll do this above the other one actually. Public benchmark range float min float max. Then color. This dot range is equal to new vector 2 min and max. This dot color is equal to color. So that's probably good for now. And let's go ahead and go back up here. We're going to say public benchmark range, make it an array, frame ranges equals new benchmark range. We'll have 3 by default, and that's going to be new benchmark range. We'll say 0f, actually, you know what? 0, 0, and then, oh, right, hold on, 0, 0, color.red, which actually might be problematic, but we'll find that out in a second. I'm also going to duplicate this and give it some int constructors. int. Yeah, and then I just got to copy this a couple of times. So I have actually 0 to 15 will be red. Or you know what, 0 to 30 will be red. 30 to 60 will be yellow. And 60, I guess we'll just say like 120 will be blue. It's not going to actually be blue that we want. We're probably going more like a cyan or something. But at any rate, okay. So we'll show that. It's not going to look quite the way that I want it to yet. We're going to make a property drawer for it because I like my properties to look nice and orderly. Assuming that it ever compiles, of course. So now it's just going to be a bunch of drop downs. And, you know, it's fine, but we can make this look super fancy and nice. So let's go ahead and come up here to our editor. We're going to say create C# script, and then we'll call it benchmark range drawer. All right. So if you've never used property drawers, this will be a fun little experience for you. Assuming I can actually double click on it to open it up. There we go. And let's see, we're going to keep benchmark range up so I can look at it. We're going to move this over to TextQuest, which is this in? Good, making sure. Say using Unity Engine, oh not engine, editor. Be a property drawer, custom property, no, not custom preview, custom property drawer, type of benchmark range. All right, and we're just going to say override on GUI, and we're going to just override how we want it to display. So this rect, this position is for most properties, it is sent in as a single line height. If we wanted to change how tall our property was, we would say override get property height. By default, for all of your custom properties, it's just going to be one line worth of height, unless you modify this get property height. But we don't need to because we actually want everything to be on one line. And we're going to separate our, well, we're not going to separate it. We're going to shuffle our position around quite a bit. We need 3 different recs, 1 for the color and 2 for the range fields. So we're going to say, how do we want to do this? Position, well, there are a couple of ways that we can do this. We can actually make new recs, or we can try to rearrange the single rect passed in. I'm going to try to do that just to keep things clean and not have like 5 recs be generated. But it's only for editor appearances, so it's not exactly necessary for it to be performant. But, you know, you always want to try for performance. So we're going to say position. Wow, that was not how you spell position at all. Position dot width. We'll say times equal 0.5. So we'll have it by default. And then we're going to say, what do I want to do with this? See, this is why it might be better to have separate recs, actually. The only real problem with just adjusting the single position that you get passed in is that it's hard to go back to whatever it was without caching certain values, or always starting with the largest values and working your way down. Because it's very difficult, unless you're working in precise numbers, to work your way back up, which we might be able to do. So I'll try it real quick. So once we divide it by half, we're going to, let's actually just divide it by, or multiply it by 0.2. So we're going to have 2 recs that are 0.2, 1 rect that is 0.1, and then 1 rect that is 0.5. So that should add up to 1, which means that we'll have our full width being used. So with that, we're going to say editor GUI, and everything has to be editor GUI, not editor GUI layout for property drawers, because editor GUI layout does not know what to do in a property drawer. It only really works in editors. So editor GUI dot property field. We're going to say position, or not position. Oh no, yeah, we are. We're going to say position, then property dot find property relative, and that's going to be range, and then dot find property relative x, because we have to get into a vector 2, and after that we're going to say GUI content dot none. That's going to give us a field that takes up the entire rect because it doesn't need to share its rect with a label. And in a lot of small classes that are just for basic information that it's obvious what it is from the fields alone, I like to use no labels as much as possible. Anyway, so next we're going to say position dot x plus equals position dot width times equals 0.5 again, so that means that it's just going to be half of what it was. And then we're going to say editor GUI dot label field position. You know what? It'll just be a string, and that's just going to be a little dash here. And I get the feeling that that's going to be a little bit close to our previous rect, but we'll see what that looks like. Again, position dot x plus equals position dot width times equals 2. Then we're going to say pretty much the exact same thing up here, except for y. And let's see. Last thing we need to do is position dot x plus equals position dot width times equals, I believe we're going to want to say 5f, because we should be back up to 0.2. Oh, I lied. 2.5 then. 2.5 f. Because we want it to be at 0.5, not 1. And then that means that the last thing we have to do is just say, copy this. Again, we're not going to have a GUI label. I'm just going to change this to color. Alright, so let's go ahead and let that compile. And when we select our benchmark tool, you should see all of our new fancy controls. Assuming I got it right. I actually deserve to be this confident about it. Haha! So yeah, it's not quite in the center like I would like, but it's not the end of the world. I could probably change that. I could make it better. But the point is that now I have, you know, everything's on one nice line. I can see what my ranges are without having to do anything. And I can see the color value associated with them. So let's go ahead and make you a little bit more yellowish, like goldish. And we'll make this a little bit more open like that. Alright. And we could actually make this 4 and break this down a little bit more. Let's go to 20 is red. 20 to 40 is yellow. 40 to 60 is green. And 60 to 120 or above is just going to be blue. So that's our property drawer for that. Real quick, I wonder if I can do this. A label 2? Oh, I didn't know you could do 2 labels. That's weird. Jeez, I don't remember if there's a way to do centered text. Editor styles dot. Is there a centered gray mini label? Let's try that. See what our label field ends up looking like. That's where it is. And no change. Ah, there it is. Ah, it's so tiny. Boo. I would actually kind of like to move everything over by like 0.1 to smush them together, but it's fine. It was meant to be quick and dirty anyway. Okay, so we have our values. They're set up. Let's go ahead and try to keep track of them now. So let's go ahead and, do I need to do anything else here? Nope. Let's disable this. Select our benchmark. Hit apply. All right. Let's go ahead and minimize some of our asset store stuff. And we're going to need to add to our UI view here. Let's just go ahead and select this object. Let's add our, where'd it go? There it is. I was going to say, where is it? Okay, so we have our view benchmark up there now. At the end of our benchmark move, we're going to want to pull it up. Let's go ahead and close this, close the benchmark range, and let's go ahead and open up benchmark manager. Good. On benchmark complete. We're going to change operation mode to disabled. We're going to say UI.open. Oh, I must not be using. Okay, yeah. Using sleepyowl.common. So we're going to say UI.open benchmark view. Okay. Actually, do I want to say get and then open? Probably. Let's go over to our benchmark view. I'm going to have override open. Close others. We're going to say if not is open, blah, 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 blah. All right, and we're going to change this to our regular void. Oh. All right. We're going to say int min frames. That's probably frame. Int max frames. Int average. I guess AVG frames. Need a space there. There we go. Okay, if not is open, we're going to do all this fun stuff, and we're going to say min label dot text is equal to min frames dot toString. Max label dot text is equal to max frames dot toString. Average label dot text is equal to AVG frames dot toString. Did I capitalize AVG? I did. And now I made it SVG. Jeez, come on. Get it together. There we go. And that's probably fine. I'm still not going to have it go back to the main menu yet. I want to make sure that this all pops up correctly. I guess we're going to have to get a frame range for this. So down here, we're going to say private color get frame rate color, and we'll pass a int value. We'll call it frame rate. All right, and let's just go ahead and say for int I equals 0, I is less than frame rate. Oh wait, no, not less than frame rate. Less than frame ranges dot length I plus plus. If frame rate is greater than or equal to frame ranges of I dot min. Oh, right. Dot range. Dot x. And frame rate is less than or equal to frame ranges of I dot range. Nope. Come on. Dot range dot y. Then we're going to do something, and we'll say return Return frame ranges by dot color. All right, and I suppose what we'll do is, in case it returns nothing, it should return the highest one. So what should I do here? I'm not gonna like this, but I'm gonna have to do this, aren't I? So we're gonna say, I guess, float max is equal to, say, 0f for int I equals 0, I is less than frame ranges dot length I plus plus. Say max is equal to frame ranges. And you know what? Actually, this should be an index, shouldn't it? Max index, and I guess we'll need float max anyway. It's equal to 0f, and this is going to be a single. It's going to be an int. All right, we're going to say max equals. Actually, no, no. Say if frame ranges of I dot range dot y is greater than max, then we're going to say max is equal to frame ranges of I dot range dot y, and max index is equal to I. And at the very end here, we're just going to say return frame ranges of I dot color, not of I, of max index dot color. There we go. That way, if we go over our expected frame rate, then we can, get the maximum blue, at least. Let's go ahead and save that out. And I'm going to see what my delay is doing here. So splash delay. I need to know how it's going to load this. So it's doing scene loader, load scene. Okay. So let's go ahead and change or copy this and move this over to our UI benchmark view. On submit, once it's just gonna take anything. We're gonna go ahead and say using sleepyowl.comment, and we're gonna change this to say main scene, and then we'll have public level ID main scene equals level ID dot main menu. All right. Let's take a look at this, make sure it looks correct. Shazam. Abracadabra. There we go. Main view, or main menu, that all looks right. All right, let's go ahead and turn off our UI. We'll hit apply on the benchmark for good measure. And then we'll hit save. Actually, did I turn off my root? Good. All right, let's go ahead and give it a shot. Okay, so this should allow us to navigate to the benchmark scene, back from the benchmark scene, and we're going to need to do a couple of things, actually. Hold on. Stop playing. I actually completely worked that. We're going to load scene, and then we're going to have to say UI.open options view. There we go. So we want to reopen the options view. And we have the eternity to wait while it unloads everything. These moments like this that I kind of wish that I did do music in the background. It just stinks because, it would be very difficult to actually have that be on YouTube or Twitch. Because copyrighted music means it gets silenced on Twitch and monetized on YouTube. Let's go ahead and play this. Start options benchmark. Oh, crap. I just realized that we actually didn't do anything here, did we? Whoops. That was not smart of me. Okay, so it's not actually going to show us our frame rates and average them out. Why am I clamped at 60? Actually, I mean, I can guess why I would be clamped at 60, because it should actually be locking it at 60. But why wasn't it doing that before? Interesting. Okay. I also didn't think that worked in the editor, but apparently it does. Let's just type anything. Ooh. That's not good. Oh, no. Yep, I was a little worried about that. So it's going to take us back to the main... Wait, the main menu has a... Oh. Oh, yeah, I guess that would be true. Harumph! That's not great. That's not great at all. So we're going to have to figure out how to open our options menu again. Because it looks like it loaded it... I mean, it should have loaded it synchronously, not asynchronously, but... yeah, it's not great. Okay, so let's go ahead and stop that. And... I guess we're going to say... Yeah, harumph. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. At any rate, I wonder if we can get good information from AFPS counter. AFPS counter dot. So we can get the instance. Can we get our actual values? No. We get the memory counter. Okay. What about... Right. Okay. Seriously, there's not a good way to do that? Background color, background padding, camera, circle gesture. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Device info counter. Still not right. FPS counter, I guess. Dot, can I get that at least? Oh dear. So it's all bools. That's a little unfortunate. Average samples is readable. Current FPS level. What? What does that even mean? Okay, well, that's not something I need. Can I seriously not pull actual values from this? Ah, no way. Oh, I guess so I can do this. Last average value. Ah, that's a little disappointing. Last value. Min-max. Min-max milliseconds. I don't actually want milliseconds. I would like frame rate over milliseconds. Mostly because I would prefer not to have to math that out myself. Reset average on new scene, reset min-max, blah, blah, blah. Wow, that is surprising. It seems like a decent asset, but you can't actually pull values out of it easily. Okay. So we'll have to get the last average value, the last maximum value, and the last minimum value. Okay. So those are the values that I need. They're just named weirdly. All right. So we'll go ahead and say int min is equal to dot last minimum value. Let's go ahead and copy this. Max and average. Not AVG, just AVG. Last maximum value and last average value. I'm going to change this to get, and then we're going to say dot open, and we will say min, max, and average, and that will be pretty much it. We'll go back over here and say close others equals true. All right. Do I need anything else? I think that's fine. So that should actually do it. And then we're also going to want to say min label dot it's going to have to be text, isn't it? Wonderful. All right, let me change this real quick. So we're going to say string. Oh, jeez. Hello, Kikette. Welcome to the Devstream. Currently, we are working on a benchmarking scene for the game to make sure that everything runs smoothly. And it's middling success right now. How are you today? Anyway, let's go ahead and say... So we're going to need to get the color value in a string representation in a hex value. Hooray! I'm pretty sure that I have a color extension that'll do that. So we're going to say min color is equal to color extensions. Oh, come on. Color extensions dot color to hex, correct? Yep, hooray. Then we're going to say get frame rate color min. Not min label, min frames, I guess. Min frames. All right. And then we have a couple of string concatenations that we have to do to actually get it to look right. So we're going to say string plus color is equal to, and I think it's going to not have a hex, like a hash symbol, will it? No, I don't think it will. So we'll leave it without it for now to test it, and then we'll just duplicate this a couple of times. Min color, change that to max color, change this to average color, and then we're going to say max frames, AVG frames. All right, so next we're going to say min color plus min frames.toString plus string here, which is just going to be our color tag, or our close color tag. So let's go ahead and copy that down and move it down here for everything. All right, and we're going to say max color plus and average color plus. All right, so that should actually look correct now with all the color values that we have. So it should actually reflect our benchmark colors. At least I hope it will. And we'll find out if we needed to add that hash mark or not. If we do, not a big change. Just a little simple string changing. And then we should have 90% of the functionality done for the benchmark. The only thing that would be left is figuring out how to get the options menu to open up again. But we'll see if we can actually get that to work nicely. I'm a little concerned about that, admittedly. Not going to lie. Okay, so we're going to go to options. Let's go to our benchmark. Okay. So we have our min and max are still at 60. I think next time we're also going to try changing our maximum frame rate to 120. See if that will get us a little bit more variance on this. Okay, looking good. I also got to solve that Text Mesh Pro problem where if you view it at an angle from a distance, it kind of clips in and out of itself. All right. Looking good. Okay, so yeah, I did need the hash. What's the dash for? No way, does it? Oh, it's probably saying -1. Oh, I probably need to do that after I set it then. That's kind of gross. All right, give me a second here. So we're going to go back to Benchmark Manager. We're going to copy this and move it back here. Hopefully that will fix that problem. And then on our benchmark here, we are going to need the color, so we need an octothorpe. Such a fun word to say. And unfortunately, in all that time, it still has not unloaded. Wasted 24 hours of your life dealing with a printer. I would say that you're not okay then. Those printers can be pretty harrowing. You gotta be careful with them. I've known a couple of people to try and fix printers and they just, wasted away trying to get it to work. Alright, let's try that again. I probably also need to have some way to just exit out of the benchmark. I actually don't know if you, in most games, can just stop a benchmark midway through. I feel like you should, if you can't, if no one does. Options, benchmark. Yeah, it takes like no time to load into this scene. But I don't know. I also need to fix that animator on the armor. I think it's broken. Or not broken, it's probably just loading a value that's not good. But what were you studying? Excuse me. Just took a drink and apparently I come out bellowing whenever I stop drinking. What were you setting up the printer for, Kiket? Oh yeah, we forgot to change our min and max values. Well, we'll try that. So min, max, and average is 60. All right. So we at least got that showing up. And they almost perfectly fit on our curtains, which is kind of funny. Oh, I also need to change that from select an option to type anything to return. Let's go ahead and just do D. Yeah. Ugh. Dang it, we gotta figure out what to do about that. So, let's go to start, options, display. Let's go from 60 lock to unlimited. Unlimited unlocks our frame rate so that we can get, variable frame rate potentially, but it also lets you go well above 120. So if you had 1,000 frames per second if you wanted. Though I doubt any monitor really today can do that. But still, let's go ahead and apply. Let's go back. Let's go back to our display to make sure it's still unlimited. Hit OK. And then let's benchmark. Okay, so yeah, we were getting locked to 60. So this is a little bit more like I would expect. This is what variable frame rate looks like, which for you on the stream is going to be completely unobservable because I only broadcast at 30 frames per second. But you can see the counter at the top left it's actually adjusting fairly often, and it looks like we're hovering on average around 190, or I guess the average is 186 roughly. So pretty good frame rate overall, but that's also with this monster tower, so gonna have to run this on my laptop to actually get good values. Don't buy S-Spawn. Need to buy software to downgrade my printer. To downgrade it? It'll accept non-original cartridges. Oh, so you can get like repurposed cartridges. So, yep, our minimum and maximum values and our average values were all well above what our baseline is. So that's good. I'm also glad that, unlocking that frame rate will actually give us adjustable values here. So let's go ahead and type whatever. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is figure out what we want to do for our for returning, because doing this logic is technically correct, but it's not actually what's going to happen, unfortunately, because I think loading the scene actually will wait one frame before it opens the next scene, and that's why we're seeing the options menu. If you look, you can see it pop up for one frame, and then it goes away, and then the splash screen shows. So, God, this is going to be really unfortunate. Got to figure out what to do about that. 190 is good. Saving it on CS:GO. Yeah. It's always hard to judge frame rates because I'm running on my monster computer, which is great. I'm getting 190 frames, but I don't know if that's going to be true for my Mac, for my laptop. And my goal is 60 frames, 1080p on my laptop, which might not be possible, but I feel like I can get there if I optimize well enough. Anyway, let's go ahead and make some minor adjustments to our benchmark thing. We want our preview text to not say select an option, and it should probably say something like type anything to return. Type anything to return. Dang it, so close to getting it to fit. Can I shrink this down to like 56? Yes, okay. I don't want it to be too much smaller than the rest of the menus, but so type anything to return should be fine. We'll probably have our output text also say something. So let's go ahead and close this, hit apply. We're going to come up here and benchmark view. Let's go ahead and say output text is equal to type anything to return to the options menu. Type anything to return to the options menu. Yeah, that's probably fine. I don't think that sounds too awkward. Right, so as far as the scene loading stuff goes, so this is how I load scenes. I have a scene manager, which actually it's called scene loader. It was called scene manager, but Unity took scene manager, so I didn't want to have to constantly specify my own scene manager. This basically starts a coroutine. Jesus, there's so many. It is really nested in there. So the idea here is that it's going to... Oh wait, no, see, this one isn't a coroutine, right, because it should be doing it synchronously. So load scene should do it synchronously. We have a load scene async, which will do a coroutine. But if we don't specify a coroutine, then it shouldn't try to do a coroutine, but it still looks like it does. That must just be Scene Manager doing that in the background. That's wonderful. So, is there a way for me to really get around that? So currently, with the way things are structured right now, make sure that everything's set up. And I guess I should hit apply here. Let's go ahead and turn off our UI. So the main menu scene that it's opening up right here is literally an empty scene with a simple object here that's just going to open up a menu. I wonder if I should make that be accessible. Now, see, that's... It all comes down to how I want to structure the main menu. So the way that I tend to structure my games for their flow from the Unity boot screen to... Wow! Is it something in open menu? Seriously, like going from this scene to splash fade should be nothing. But something in main menu, huh? Interesting. I wonder what it is. Something in main menu is just horrendously inefficient, apparently. Anyway, so I have a splash fade scene, which is basically empty. All it's meant to do is fade from the color that the Unity splash screen fades to a more manageable color, which actually is not really a thing anymore, because if I remember correctly, let's go to Project Settings Player. And I haven't messed around with this, but Unity's current splash screen is actually adjustable. There it is, background color. Before, you couldn't actually adjust these values, so I had to match the color manually and then fade from it to like black, so that you have a smooth fade transition, as opposed to just Unity logo scene, hard cut to black. But I guess I don't really have to do that anymore. But I still need this scene because it's basically going to have a bunch of singletons that are only in the scene, and then they'll persist after the scene is done. But once we load this scene, we transition into our main menu scene, which has, again, nothing in it. And also notice how fast that loaded. But if we try to go back from... Wow. Something about main menu is just... it's what's causing the problem with my loading. That's actually really interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that after the stream. I'm glad that I've figured out that it's something to do with the main menu. Interesting. Anyway, we have to go right back to it. I wonder if it's the item ID collections, maybe? There's like nothing here. Why does it take forever to stop? Okay. Anyway. So, I could have some exposed value here. Like maybe a static value that doesn't try to show or try to open the menu at start and doesn't try to show anything else. I mean, that would be really frustrating to do that. I don't really know what else I would do here. So I would essentially change this from just this start behavior to something like, and this is going to be a quick and dirty solution. I don't know if it's going to stay like this. I doubt it will. Actually, private static bool initialized is equal to false. And then we're going to say if not initialized, initialized equals true. And that's pretty much all we would need to do. So you'll be able to see what this looks like after our next benchmark test. We're going to have to switch out of open menu, though. Or out of main menu. God, I'm really curious. I don't know what could be in this scene that causes such a delay. There's literally nothing here. There's just nothing. It's not even really referencing anything. It just takes forever to load out of it. Huh. I wonder if it's a bug with Unity. Because it didn't used to do this. And quitting while playing or transitioning between other scenes does not take that long. So it's something about that scene. Well, in any case. So let's go ahead and do another benchmark test. And we'll see what it looks like. So we should see our splash screen. See, it also seems like loading into it hangs for a little bit for some reason. Anyway, so we got our logos. Okay, we got our scene loaded. Let's go ahead and hit start. Options. Let's do our benchmark. All right. I still got to do sound effects for all this stuff. Also curious. So it's saying, if you look at the information at the bottom left, it's saying that my monitor is refreshing at 120 hertz, which is correct, I believe. But I still don't get more than 60 hertz available in my frame rate options. I wonder why. Okay, so that's all correct. Type anything. Oh, our output text changed. Okay, it must be something in the base. Let's go ahead and say anything. All right, that's not terrible. It's actually a lot better than I was expecting. So as far as the transition back goes, I think, and transition to and from, I guess, should probably both do this. I probably should have a fade in and out. So, hold on. I'm going to go ahead and, actually, I'm going to try a test. I'm going to hit play here. I'm going to stop playing here. Darn. I was really hoping that that would work. Oh well. Anyway, let's go ahead and get rid of this. What was I going to do? Benchmark view. Right. I was going to change this. So output text is now being set after we hit open. Because I think base.open actually sets output text to be nothing. Yeah, we set output label.text equals to nothing. So let's go ahead and... So I guess, well, maybe it's not that scene then. Well, I don't know. That's still unloaded somewhat faster than I would expect. Eh. Let's see. All right. Oh, interesting. I have a null reference value on settings. Oh, I bet I know what it is. Just out of curiosity. Oh, hold on. Show and Explorer. We're going to go to text quest. Settings. So settings are just a JSON blob. FPS is set to be -1. Oh, I bet it sees the negative and assumes that it's not a number. Ah. Okay. Because of course it doesn't. I probably should change that. But yeah, so we have, if your FPS is set to -1, then it's unlimited. Because that's how applications work. -1 is infinity. I actually wonder if I should set that stuff in a generic INI file as opposed to JSON. It wouldn't really matter, I don't think. It kind of is irrelevant. But it might be interesting to have an INI reader. Start. Let's go to options. Benchmark. Let's look at our transitions again. So we do get a little bit of a hang when it does that transition. And I think it would be nice. Yeah, I gotta fix that armor still. I do think it would be nice to sort of have a fade to black as opposed to just a hard cut. But for now, it's functional, which is exciting for me. It looks like we're getting some sorting issues on the characters, though. Probably not wanting to draw on top of each other very well. Alright. And I think we're good. So, wow, maximum of 200 that time. Still doing good overall. I think this menu looks fine. Don't really know what else I would add to this menu. Because again, I honestly don't know what else you would benchmark besides your frame rate. I mean, you can do stuff like render times, but that is your frame rate. It's just a different number for it, basically. Alright, I'll have to look at what other games do for benchmarks to see if they catalog anything else. Let's see, type anything. So keep an eye on when I hit enter here. It's going to freeze for a second, go to black, because it's going to load the starting scene, and then that scene is going to asynchronously load the next scene, or the startup scene that it should. So, slight hang, fade to black, well, not a fade to black, snap to black, and then a snap to this. So it might be good overall if we actually do have some sort of fade in. But we'll have to see what that ends up looking like. Now, if I'm lucky, I might actually have a very convenient way to do that. Okay. So we're going to let that stop playing real quick. I'm going to go to my UI, which of course is fortunately already up. That way I don't have to look through that. Let's see here. Do I have a current? Or actually, I guess let's go to game view. I still do have a current menu. And the root, yes, okay. So, hold on, find all references. Current view, good, good, good. Okay, so I can kind of fudge this, actually. This is gonna be really weird, but... okay. Let me see here. Let's go ahead and let that up. We're going to go to our main menu and go to load menu level. Okay. Now, while splash view is open, yield return null. And once that's done. Oh, man. No, that won't work. Ah, phooey. Okay. So my goal was going to was basically going to be to fade in the background of the menu that is currently open whenever we need to do that fade from black. But that won't actually work, unfortunately. And the reason that won't work is because of this. So when we hit play, we're going to load into our splash screen, which is, actually the main menu scene. But we open up our splash screen, we can click through this. And now we get shown the title screen. Oh, wow. We have a... Oh my goodness, what happened? I'm actually playing. Oh no. Oh no, this is terrible. What has happened? Terrible things have happened. Why is this... I don't know what happened here. Okay. So we just started playing right in that scene, huh? Okay. Okay. It's not quite what I was expecting. Well, um, mm, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and get a screenshot of that so I can share my embarrassment with the rest of the world. I don't know what happened there. I apparently had a null reference. Maybe this is causing a problem. Okay, so maybe I have to fix that real quick. So let's go to game settings. Oh, not custom game settings, just game settings. Here we are. What frame or what line was that? 445. Oh, there's a lot of code for that. All right, because it's doing all the refreshing. 445. Get int value. There we go. That should be a string. Whoa. Hold on. Video frame rate, FPS. Yeah, FPS, -1. Heck. Okay. Go to definition. Is it just not seeing it for some reason? That's really weird. It's also odd that we're getting that issue now. If I clamp this to 60, does it still happen? Also, it didn't do that before, so why is it doing it now? Okay. Well, that was interesting. Site doesn't work. Site doesn't work. That's a bad thing. Why didn't the site work? Oh dear. Because Chris was an idiot. Well. Give me a second, Egtacular. That is what happens when you don't have automatic renewal set up. Well, in any case, let's go ahead and hit this play. Swap out. Let that load in. Oh, it expired like just today. Go figure. I'm just going to turn on auto renew. Oh my, we're back. It did it again. Why did it do that? Well. Huh. What is happening here? Is it loading me into the wrong scene? Hold on. Let me go to... Yeah. Well, I apologize, Egtacular. It's probably going to take like 12 hours for it to not be broken. Yeah. Well, I probably would have noticed it before that, actually, because there are other things that I was planning on doing this week for it. Okay, so it's going to take a couple of minutes for it to actually come back. We'll see what happens. Either way, Welcome to Stream Spectacular. Thank you for coming in with that wonderful bombshell. That actually was a bit of a lifesaver. Oh crap! Right, we can't really. It's all. I really should turn off encoding for these things because it's all terrible encryption that just turns it into binary blobs. So weird. Let me look at the index here. 2. So it's going to be looking for autosave 2. If I got rid of my autosaves, will that fix it? Because it's weird. I don't know what's causing it to load. Either way. Did we get the null reference that time? Oh, I cleared it already, so who knows? Okay, so let's try this again. Maybe I have... Do I have my UI enabled? Is that why? Oh my god, what is going on here? It's so weird. Okay, well, I mean, nothing is changing there. So let's go ahead and go back to our main scene there. Splash fade. I'm curious to why it's suddenly plopping the player in there. Oh, how wonderful. Wait. Ah, man. Now I'm going to be just paranoid about that whole main thing. Like, obsessively refreshing. Oh well. At any rate, let's go ahead and clear that stuff. So, what on earth is doing this? Because there is nothing left that should be... Wait! Nope, yeah, no, that nothing should be doing it. Well, I didn't change anything there. So, load menu level... Yeah, we're not doing anything here. We decided not to do that. Benchmark view, open menu at start. There's literally nothing going on there. Huh. Alright, well, when all else fails, we do this. Let's see. Player hero. Spawn point. Instantiate. Here we are. Debug.log. Hero request. So the way the hero or the player character is instantiated is basically we call global.hero, which will first look for the player character and then create one if it doesn't exist. But the fact that it's showing up means that something is referencing it now that was not before, which is very odd because we haven't touched anything that should be changing that, and it was working earlier on in the stream today. So, okay. Start. What the? That time it was fine. Why? Why, though, is my question, because that makes no sense. That makes no sense. Maybe it was something with the broken states? Like the save states were screwed up? Because, I mean, if we look at our index now, it's going to say, like, 2. Oh, it's still going to say 2, apparently. But why, though? Well, that's a mystery we'll never know. Huh. Well, that, yeah, that's super weird, and that, greatly concerns me. Okay. I don't know what to do about that. I guess I just have to keep playing until it happens again. Hooray! That's gonna bug me. Nothing should have done that. Hold on. I'm gonna try not clicking through the splash screens. I'm actually kind of curious to see what it. Like, surely that cannot be it. Surely clicking through them is not what prevents the player from showing up in that scene. Surely that cannot be the case. So let's go ahead and just let that happen. Nope. That seems to be fine. Huh. Okay. Well, I honestly don't know what else to do about that then. I guess it was just a weird fluke. Huh. Okay. Well then, let's go ahead and say, let's run our benchmark one more time. Maybe something about the benchmark does that? All right, and we're locked at 60 again, so. We can see if you look real hard, you'll see the king. I guess he doesn't actually clip through him. It's just because we're seeing him through the letters. So I might actually have to position the wizard so he's not directly in front of the king. That seems to cause weird difficulties when you're. It's weird to read it. So it might be better to offset him to the right so that we get the king, the wizard, and the adventurer all in one shot. Okay, so type anything. I mean, looks like we're all good here. And we'll say. Okay, so. Yeah, alright. Let's go ahead and do. Let me look at my global game settings. Open menu at start. No. Splash delay. No. Wait. What? Did I close it by accident? I think I did. All right. So it's not the open menu at start that I actually want. It's the like load. Whatever scene. Probably could look that up. Load scene. Darn, that's not going to work. If I just look for load, it's probably going to be a lot of things. Load level event. That also could just be its name. So, hold up. Main menu, open, load menu level. That's what I want. All right. So what we're going to do here probably is say load level coroutine. We will have a solid black view whose sole purpose is just to exist behind other menus so we can do that fade effect. So let's try it. Okay, hold on. We're going to want to... Yeah, okay. Where to put it? I guess down here in views. Do I want to call it fade? I already have something called fade. That's not a good thing. I guess we'll call it background fade. Background. Actually, I don't even think I need that, honestly. I think I could just use the fade view and duplicate it and set its order to 1 or 0. That might work. Maybe. It might also present problems. So let me see where this is referenced, because that could potentially be really annoying. Find all references. Yeah, that's not great. Global get fade in, fade out. Text with scene loader. Yep, there it is. So that's already being used for fading. Jeez, that's not super great. What to do about that? Because ideally, I don't want to make another script to do exactly the same thing. Jeez, that sucks. But I might have to. Alternatively, I could just set its order to be 1 or 0 whenever I need it, but that no, that would be too messy. So, and that would also, excuse me, I would also have to sort all of the menus whenever I changed it, so that's not great. All right, instead, I guess I'm going to just do this. Fade view. Text quest. And it's literally just not going to do anything. It's just going to be an empty script. I hate it when I do that. Alright, let's go ahead and let's go back to our splash fade. Go over here to our load menu level. And right here, we're going to say UI.get background fade view dot open false. We don't want it to close all the other menus. And I guess while that's happening, we're actually going to say fade view fade is equal to that. What do you mean you can't implicitly do that? It derives from that. That's incredibly weird. Oops. Okay, fine. I guess I'll just do that. Oh, that's why. Because I was silly. We're just going to say open here. And then we'll say false. There we go. All right, and then we're going to say fade dot. What are my functions here? I know I have something here that's actually meant to be updated. Fade in, fade out, fade out. Oh, that's not great, but I guess we'll make do with it. So we'll say fade dot fade out with 0 F for duration, so that should fade it solidly out to black instantly. And then down here, we'll say fade in with 2F. Okay. Give me a second here. We're going to duplicate our fade view. Once it compiles. Duplicate this. Move this up here. Call it background fade. Okay. Drag in background fade view. Drag in our root. It's default. Fade background. You. Fade time. Order of 0 for this, which is good. Remove component. And we're just going to drag this down here. Hold on. Don't need to drag it. I can just hit apply. Except it totally didn't change the name. Which I hate it when it does that. There. All right, let's go ahead and select our UI object. We're going to need to add that view to it. Background fade. Okay there. And I think that's pretty much it. So let's give it a shot. See what happens. I did tell it that it was going to fade in with 2 seconds. Good. I was going to be very, very sad if it was coded for 0. Okay, so we're going to click, skip. Wow, that totally did not do anything at all. Yeah, no, of course, of course. Okay, give me a second here. I bet I know why. I bet that we are telling our main menu to open up and close everything else. So let's go here, peak definition, or I guess we should just go to definition. Definition, close, fade coroutine. Here we are, UI.open title view. Let's go ahead and say false. Okay. And now I think we'll be good. At least I hope so. Before we go any further, though, I will also go to definition here and start blah, blah, blah. Same thing here. We're going to say false. And then we'll say close. And then, dang it, that's not good. I guess it doesn't matter. We'll leave it. We'll keep this as a basic one for now. I'm mostly just trying to eliminate sort of the edge cases where maybe if you type really fast, you could get through the title screen in less than 2 seconds, in which case you would see a little bit of a hiccup, but that might not be a problem really. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, play. Okay, we get our fade. Let's skip and skip. And oh, kind of worked. I mean, it definitely faded, but it didn't quite look the way I was expecting it to. Also, my cursor is now missing. Wonderful, wonderful. Huh. I don't know why that is. Okay. Start. Let's go to our options. Let's run our benchmark and see what that looks like coming back from it. Oh god, it's so... God, it almost hurts to actually watch the benchmark. The way objects move, it's like there's motion blur on it, but I know that there's not. That's really weird. Okay, so we get our wizard disappearing. Maybe it's screen tearing is what I'm seeing. No, because screen tearing would be more obvious. I don't know, it's just really weird seeing everything smoothly scroll by like that. Maybe I need to increase the FOV or something. Okay, 60, 60, 60 across the board. Let's type whatever. Yeah, there's... Weird. I don't know, maybe it should take longer than 2 seconds to fade in. It just seems like it fades in so fast. Alright, either way, that's the benchmark stuff. I mean, it seems to be running pretty well. So it doesn't really take that long for it to go to the benchmark scene. It seems like it'll get back from it just fine without any real problems. It's logging the values correctly, which is pretty good. We have color coding for the numbers, so you know it can be a little bit more visually interesting. It's not just white everywhere. So I think we're overall in a pretty good place. I think in the future I'll probably not show this information on the top left and bottom right. And instead I'll just, you know, have that stuff be presented at the end. But it's nice for debugging right now to see everything. So yeah, that's the benchmarking tool. pretty good. Only took 2 days to implement, and it's pretty worth it. So that's probably actually a pretty good spot to end for the day. End while you're ahead. Let's see. Today was Tuesday. Sorry, my week's been thrown off by holiday yesterday. Thursday, we should be back at our regular time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And not entirely sure what we're going to work on. I think I have some ideas, but I'll probably want to flesh them out, see which one's the most interesting. And yeah, do I have any other announcements? Not off the top of my head. So, I guess I also, real quick, want to check to see if my website's back up. No, it's not. Google, hurry. You make me nervous. That's my own fault. I've turned on auto renew now. I didn't do that in the past, and I really should have. Anyway, so yep, that's a pretty good place to stop for the night. Got all of our benchmark stuff done, or at the very least functional. And I'll probably polish it up on the side just to get it a little bit more, nice to look at and not so awkward. But yeah, so as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.